وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Okay, it's Wednesday and I'm here to answer your questions. No, we'll take from the questions from the board. Okay.
Go back.
Why is some salahs have more rak'ats than others?
Okay, good question. So the question is, why do more salawats have more rak'ahs than others? Again, with similar questions, the number one reason is that we pray in a certain way because the Prophet ﷺ did it this way. So Jibreel alayhi salam taught him to pray Fajr 2, Dhuhr 4, Asr, how many? 4, Maghrib
3,
and Isha 4. So if you decide to do more, say for example Fajr is 2, you say this is not too much, I'm going to do 3, is your salah acceptable? No, it has to be 2. If you think Isha is too much and you want to do 2 only or 3, your salah is not accepted. Whether you add or you subtract, your salah is not accepted. You have to do it in a certain way, the same way that the Prophet ﷺ did and Jibreel taught him by wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet ﷺ said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray the same way you have seen me pray. And this is the way that he was reported to have prayed. Barakallah. Next one.
How do you slaughter a sheep?
Well, it is not Eid al-Adha yet.
I know.
Well, it's very simple. Those who work for butcher houses, they know there are certain veins, a couple of veins that they cut. One is the main artery, the main vein. Once it is cut, and also the ear vein. So when these two are cut, the animal will not live any longer. So the blood comes out, they're not able to breathe, so khalas, they're done.
If you are reading a long surah and you cannot finish it in the first rak'ah, can you finish it in the second rak'ah?
Good. So there's a minimum number of ayat you can recite, but there's no maximum, right? So the minimum is the equivalence of Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. This is the shortest surah in the Quran, and it has only 10 words. So this is the minimum you can say. There's no maximum. So if you think you're running out of time, you can't finish the surah. Say for example, you're reading Surah Al-Fajr, وَلَيَالٍ عَشْرٍ. You can't finish the surah in the first rak'ah, then you can divide the surah or you cite as many ayat as you want, and you continue in the next rak'ah. Some of the scholars say, if you are reciting, we're not talking about a long surah now, we're talking about a long ayah. Like say for example, I'm reciting ayah 252 in Surah Baqarah. I think it's 252, the longest one, right? Or 282, if I'm correct. 282, the longest ayah in the Quran that talks about diyun and debts and writing them down and stuff. This one ayah basically is the longest ayah in the Quran. Is 15 lines, one whole page. So if you are in the middle of the ayah, can you stop? And the scholars say if the meaning is complete, then you can stop. Even without finishing the ayah if it is too long for you. Like sometimes in Salah when I'm reading, I read from Surah Al-Imran, the dua, there is a beautiful dua at the end that the Prophet ﷺ used to recite in his Salah at night. And in the next ayah, like they say, Allah forgive us, give us Jannah, don't give us Jahannam. Then in the next ayah it says, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ. Their Lord answered their prayer. And I don't finish the ayah because it's kind of long, and I make ruku'. The meaning is complete. They made a dua, like half a page. The next ayah says, their Lord answered their prayer. Khalas, the meaning is complete. So, you can divide the surah between the 2 rak'ahs if the time doesn't allow it.
What is shaitan?
What?
Shaitan.
I know. What? I know.
Well, I think we should ask Shaitan. He knows himself better than I do. But anyway, we know about Shaitan. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran and in the Hadith that Shaitan, his name was Iblis.
Yes.
Before he fell from grace. So in the story of the creation of Adam, in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, in many other places, in Surah Sad, whenever it talks about Shaitan before he refused to make sajda to Adam, his name was Iblis. Then after he left and he was sent to this earth, from now on he's called Shaitan. Right? Shaitan comes from the root word shatana in the Arabic language. Shatana bima'na ba'uda, because he's far away from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was created from fire, and this is mentioned in the Quran. When he protested that he didn't want to make sajda to Adam, he said, you created me from fire and you created him from mud. So he's created from fire. He can see us and we cannot see him. And this is mentioned in the Quran. إِنَّهُ يَرَاكُمْ هُوَ قَبِيلُهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا تَرَوْنَهُمْ. We know that the cunning or the evil plans of shaitan are weak, because this is what Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. You can beat him by saying that أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, or you can say Ayah Kursi. You will be able to defeat him. You cannot defeat him on your own. So you have to seek help from Allah. When you recite Quran, you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. His job and his whole purpose and game in life, goal in life, is to take as many people as he can with him to Jahannam, because he doesn't want to be there by himself. إنما يدعو حزبه ليكونوا من أصحاب السعير. He wants to take as many people as he can with him when he goes to Jannah.
Jahannam.
Sorry. There is an ayah, beautiful ayah in Surah Ibrahim, where shaitan would actually give a talk in Jahannam. So, وقال الشيطان لما قضي الأمر إن الله وعدكم إلى نهاية الآية. So what happens on the day of judgment, when the believers will go to Jannah and the kuffar will go to Jahannam? So the people in Jahannam will say to shaitan, you see, Muhammad ﷺ made shafa'ah and he took people to Jannah. The malaika made shafa'ah, they took people to Jannah. And the other prophets made shafa'ah, they took people to Jannah. And now we are in Jahannam. You gotta stand up and say something. Help us, protect us, because we're following you all the time. We are here because of you. You gotta stand up and say something to protect us. And he is gonna stand up and give his khutbah al-shaitan in Jahannam. And he will say, Allah gave you a promise. He told you to do the right thing. You didn't do the right thing and you followed me. I had no authority on you. So don't blame me, blame yourselves. I cannot protect you today. So this will be his khutbah, which will come as a big disappointment for his followers. So that much we know about shaitan based on what is mentioned in the Quran and Hadith.
If you always forget to make salah and sunnah, is Allah going to be mad at you?
Okay. We'll make a distinction between fard, the 5 daily namaz, the 5 prayers, and the sunnah. The fard, you have to pray. There's no choice, right? The Fajr, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, and Isha, you have to pray the 5. As soon as a person hits puberty, they become mature, they have to do the 5 daily prayers. There are some conditions, and so on and so forth. Like someone, like a sister, for example, she's having this time of the month, she doesn't have to pray. If someone is in a coma, they go to a hospital, they stay there for 2 months, they are not conscious, they can't feel anything. When they wake up, they don't have to pray the salawat they missed in the last 2 months, because technically they were there physically, but they were not there. As for the sunnah prayer, it is recommended to pray them because there are so many benefits that you get from Salatul Sunnah. Number 1, which is mentioned in Sahih Tirmidhi, if you make a mistake in the 5 daily salawat that you don't know of, like say for example you prayed Isha 2 rak'ah because you were in a rush and you forgot, or 3 rak'ah because you had to catch the bus or go to school and you totally forgot. You didn't realize that you prayed only 2 rak'ahs or 3 rak'ahs for Isha. You didn't know, right? You were not paying attention. How do we make up for what you missed unknowingly? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make up for whatever you missed in the fard through the sunnah. And the sunnah salah will raise you in rank in Jannah. And the sunnah salah will make up for the sins that we commit here and there. And the sunnah salah will make you joined the Prophet ﷺ in the highest places in Jannah. One of the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, you are the Prophet of Allah, you will be in the highest place. I will be in the basement. How can I be with you in Jannah? He said, فَأَعِنِّي عَلَى ذَلِكَ بِكَثْرَةِ السُّجُودِ. Make a lot of salah. And he was not talking about the fard, he was talking about sunnah. So this will raise you up in rank, so you'll be with Muhammad ﷺ. If someone misses Salatul Sunnah and they don't pray it, of course they will miss all the rewards. It's a bonus that you get from Allah to gain more rewards. And I gave the example before, you're leaving the masjid at the end of the day and someone is standing outside giving $100 bills. If you take it, you win $100. If you don't take it, technically you don't lose anything from your pocket, but you lost a great opportunity. So fard, 5 daily salawat, and try to pray the sunnah as much as you can to get the reward. If someone doesn't pray the 5 namaz, they will be punished. There are so many surahs that talk about this in the Quran, فَوَيْلُ الْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ, and so on and so forth. But if someone does not pray sunnah, they miss the reward. Will they be punished in akhirah? I don't think so. Allahu A'lam. But they deprived themselves from the bonus, which is free. Allahu A'lam.
Why do people think Allah is not real?
Okay. It's a good question, by the way. There are at least 1 billion people in this world who don't believe that God even exists. Yeah. They don't think, they call themselves atheists. They don't believe that a God exists, and they think that no one is running the show. When the sun comes out in the morning and all the great design in the universe, the butterflies, the peacocks, creation of humans, creation of animals, and so on and so forth, they say everything came about by chance or coincidence. Like there's no one who is running the show and taking care of everything. But there are so many things they cannot explain. They cannot explain, for example, if there is no intelligent master creator behind everything, how come that your eye is more sophisticated than any camera that Sony or Nikon can ever produce? So the most sophisticated people in our time when it comes to technology are probably the Germans and the Japanese. They create cameras and stuff. So why is it so that your eyes are more sophisticated? They have a better resolution, thousands of times better than any camera. So one question is, can disorder or order come from disorder? Like all the great design and the calculations in the universe, the sun comes out at a certain time, the distance with the earth, and all these things, your heart beats. Does this come by chance, or there has to be someone intelligent or a master creator who is intelligent that is behind all of this? This cannot come about by chance. And the other thing is, they know in physics that something does not come out of nothing. Something, like whatever you see around you, cannot come from nothing. There has to be something from which something else would come. But they believe that this world came from nothing, and based on what they believe, order came from disorder, and this is not acceptable. Why do so many people disbelieve in the existence of Allah? Number one, because they cannot see Him. A lot of people are visual, and they believe only in what they see, right? They believe in only what they can see. I think this argument was made by an atheist professor, and his Muslim student told him, why didn't you believe that Allah exists? He said, because I can't see Him. Because I have my 5 senses, my hands, my eyes, and I have to see God and touch God and, you know, experience God with my 5 senses to be able to believe in Him. So the Muslim student says, do you have a soul? Do you have a soul? He said, yes, I have a soul because I'm alive, I'm not dead. So the student said, I've never seen your soul, I've never touched your soul, I've never squeezed or tasted your soul, so technically you are dead because I can't see your soul. right? And also there are so many things that exist around us that we can't see. You can't see electricity. This is not electricity. This is the result of electricity, the light. You cannot see wireless internet. You can't see it, but we can see the effect, the result of wireless internet, and so on and so forth. There's so many things that exist, and we know for sure they exist, and we can't see them. But this does not mean they don't exist. If you have a watch with you, if you have a cell phone, or if you have a laptop, the fact that you don't know the guy or the person who designed or created this laptop or this cell phone, it doesn't mean that they don't exist. They exist, but you don't see them and you don't know them, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists. The fact that we don't see Him in dunya, it doesn't mean that He doesn't exist, but we know that He exists by the things that He created. The moon, the stars, the human beings, the animals, and so on and so forth. And we know from the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, those who will go to Jannah, they will be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and talk to Him directly. وَجُوهٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ نَاظِرَةٌ إِلَى رَبِّهَا نَاظِرَةٌ. They will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the chance to see Him and talk to Him in Jannah. Ameen, ameen. Any more questions? Two more.
If you forget to pray at home, can you pray in the car? Of course.
Well, Sunnah Salah, there is no question that you can pray Salatul Sunnah in your car. As long as you're not the driver, because if you make ruku' or sajda, you'll get into an accident. And your car insurance, your premium will go high through the ceiling, right? Or maybe you end up hurting someone. But Salatul Fard, it is better to pray it standing up. Because qiyam, standing up, is a pillar or one of the requirements of Salatul Fard. Unless, say for example, I'm driving to Niagara Falls, or I'm traveling, I'm going to New York airport, and I can't pray on the way because it's raining outside, it's very cold outside, or whatever, you are afraid for yourself, then in this case, this is an emergency, in this case you can pray in the car. But don't do this unless you have to.
If your hands are both broken, how will you pray?
Well, this applies to anything else. If you are missing a foot, or if someone is blind, or someone can't hear. People with disability, of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them the reward for their patience, but they need to pray as best as they can. Yes, if they cannot use their hands to make sajda, then they will do their best, right? If someone is not able to stand up, they sit down. So again, if someone has a disability, they do their best. And as I always say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the reward for doing your best, even if your best is not good enough. But Allah will give you the full reward for doing your best. Someone has a back problem, they can't stand up and say Fatiha and the surah. If they sit on the chair, they will get the reward as if they were standing up, because this is the best they can do. Any more questions?
No.
Thanks. If you have any question, try to post it on the Bristol board downstairs. And I don't want 20 of you to run after me and 10 people are talking at the same time. So we'll do it in a civil manner, inshallah. Post all your questions on the Bristol board and we'll take them next week.
Hi, bye, hi, bye, hi.